And I understand that, but I can tell you the other side isn't exactly in love with.
Жителей Донецкой и Луганской народных республик, Запорожской и Херсонской областей.
The skies over Eastern Europe have become a battlefield like never before. Tonight, we bring you breaking news that could reshape the entire conflict. Ukrainian forces have achieved something military experts thought impossible just months ago. They have systematically destroyed Russian air defense systems across hundreds of kilometers of frontline territory. This is not just another tactical victory. This is a complete dismantling of Russia's ability to control the airspace above their own positions. Good evening, and welcome to our special report. I'm bringing you the most significant development in the ongoing conflict since the war began. What we're witnessing is nothing short of revolutionary. Ukrainian military strategists have executed a coordinated campaign that has left Russian forces virtually blind to aerial threats across vast stretches of the front line. The implications are staggering. Over the past several weeks, Ukrainian forces have targeted and destroyed critical components of Russia's integrated air defense network. We're talking about radar installations worth millions of dollars, command and control systems that took years to deploy, mobile launchers that cannot be easily replaced. This isn't random destruction. This is surgical precision aimed at creating air superiority through technological dominance. To understand the magnitude of what's happening, we need to look back at how this campaign developed. For months, Ukrainian military planners studied Russian air defense patterns. They identified vulnerabilities in the network that connects radar systems to missile launchers. They mapped communication links between command centers and frontline positions. Most importantly, they developed the tools and tactics needed to exploit these weaknesses. The strategy was deceptively simple in concept but extraordinarily complex in execution. First, target the eyes of the enemy by destroying long-range surveillance radars. Second, sever the nervous system by eliminating command and control nodes. Third, remove the teeth by hunting down mobile missile launchers. Finally, ensure the network cannot regenerate by targeting repair facilities and supply lines. Ukrainian forces began this campaign with limited resources but maximum determination. They had to develop new approaches because traditional methods weren't available to them. Without a large fleet of fighter aircraft or long-range bombers, they turned to innovative drone technology and precision artillery strikes guided by real-time intelligence. The execution of this plan has been nothing short of masterful. Near the town of Boyavlanka in the Donetsk region, Ukrainian forces demonstrated their evolved capabilities. A Russian missile launcher was identified and tracked in real time by reconnaissance drones. The target was confirmed, approach routes were planned, and the bomber drone was deployed with surgical precision. The result was catastrophic for Russian forces as stored ammunition exploded in a massive fireball visible for kilometers. But this was just one example of dozens of successful operations. In the Zaporizhia region, Ukrainian forces struck what military analysts consider a prize target. They destroyed a rare control module that serves as the brain of an entire air defense sector. This single strike effectively blinded multiple radar installations and severed communication with numerous missile launchers across a wide area. The campaign expanded rapidly across multiple fronts. In Rostov, one of Russia's most sophisticated long-range radar systems was eliminated overnight. Satellite imagery confirmed the destruction with fires visible from space. Further north, another radar installation in Bryansk was targeted and destroyed, eliminating its ability to detect incoming threats. Even in Crimea, supposedly one of the most heavily defended territories under Russian control, Ukrainian forces successfully neutralized multiple radar systems. These operations span thousands of kilometers but share common tactical approaches. Ukrainian forces use small reconnaissance drones to locate and identify targets. Once confirmed, they deploy appropriate weapon systems ranging from precision artillery to kamikaze drones depending on target type and location. For deeper targets beyond artillery range, they launch fixed-wing unmanned aircraft capable of flying hundreds of kilometers to strike radar installations. The variety of weapons and tactics demonstrates Ukrainian adaptability. Against mobile targets like missile launchers, they use bomber drones that can loiter over target areas and strike with precision. Against hardened installations, they deploy heavier explosives delivered by larger unmanned aircraft. Against time-sensitive targets, they coordinate multiple systems to ensure successful engagement before enemy forces can relocate. This systematic approach has created gaps in Russian air defense coverage that Ukrainian forces are now exploiting. Military experts estimate that effective radar coverage has been reduced by more than 60% across key sectors of the front line. Command and control capabilities have been degraded even further as central coordination nodes have been systematically eliminated. The implications for air superiority are profound. Modern air defense systems depend on integrated networks where multiple components work together. Radar installations detect incoming threats and relay information to command centers. Command centers analyze the data and issue firing orders to appropriate missile launchers. When any component of this network is destroyed, the entire system becomes less effective. Ukrainian forces have targeted each component systematically. By destroying early warning radars, they create blind spots where aircraft and drones can operate undetected. By eliminating command centers, they prevent coordinated responses even when threats are detected. By hunting missile launchers, they remove the ability to engage targets even when they're identified and tracked. The psychological impact on Russian forces cannot be understated. Air defense crews now operate knowing they're being hunted by an enemy they often cannot detect until it's too late. Command structures have been disrupted as communications networks have been severed. Supply lines are under constant threat as Ukrainian forces demonstrate their ability to strike deep behind enemy lines. From a strategic perspective, this campaign represents a fundamental shift in the conflict. Ukrainian forces are no longer simply defending territory. They are actively degrading Russian military capabilities in a systematic fashion that will have long-term consequences. Each destroyed radar system costs millions to replace. Each eliminated command center requires months to rebuild and redeploy. Each mobile launcher destroyed reduces overall defensive capability. Russian forces now face a critical decision point. They can attempt to reinforce their air defense network by deploying additional systems, but this makes those systems vulnerable to the same precision strikes that have been so effective. They can try to disperse their remaining assets, but this reduces overall effectiveness and makes coordination more difficult. They can focus on defending their most critical installations, but this leaves other areas exposed to continued Ukrainian operations. The economic implications are equally significant. Russia's defense industrial complex is already strained by wartime demands and international sanctions. Replacing destroyed air defense systems requires specialized components that are increasingly difficult to obtain. Manufacturing new radar installations and command systems takes months or years, not weeks. The pace of destruction is outpacing Russia's ability to regenerate their defensive capabilities. Intelligence analysts suggest this campaign will continue and likely intensify. Ukrainian forces have demonstrated they possess both the capability and determination to sustain these operations across multiple fronts simultaneously. As Russian air defenses become more fragmented, additional opportunities will emerge for deeper strikes against previously protected targets. The response from Russian military leadership has been notably muted, suggesting they have few immediate options to counter these tactics effectively. Traditional countermeasures against drone swarms and precision strikes require the very air defense systems that are being systematically eliminated. This creates a tactical dilemma where the solution to the problem requires capabilities that no longer exist. Looking ahead, this development could herald a new phase of the conflict where Ukrainian forces possess significant advantages in air operations. The ability to operate drones and eventually manned aircraft with reduced risk of interception opens possibilities for deeper reconnaissance missions, precision strikes against high-value targets, and close air support for ground operations. However, this success also carries risks. Russian forces may respond with increased emphasis on offensive operations to compensate for their defensive weaknesses. They might accelerate deployment of alternative weapon systems that don't rely on traditional air defense networks. Most concerning, they could escalate with weapon systems that Ukrainian air superiority cannot effectively counter. The international community is watching these developments closely. NATO military planners are undoubtedly studying Ukrainian tactics for potential applications in future conflicts. Defense contractors are analyzing the effectiveness of various weapon systems demonstrated in real combat conditions. Strategic analysts are reassessing assumptions about modern air defense effectiveness against determined adversaries using innovative approaches. As we conclude tonight's report, one thing is crystal clear. Ukrainian forces have achieved something remarkable through careful planning, innovative tactics, and precise execution. They have systematically dismantled one of the world's most extensive air defense networks using resources that many experts considered insufficient for such an ambitious undertaking. The skies above Eastern Europe have fundamentally changed. What was once Russian-controlled airspace is now contested territory where Ukrainian forces can operate with unprecedented freedom. This is not just tactical air superiority. This is a complete redefinition of the operational environment that will influence every aspect of future military operations in the region. The question now is not whether Ukrainian forces can maintain this advantage, but how they will use it to achieve their strategic objectives. Tonight's developments represent more than military success. They represent a transformation in the nature of modern warfare itself. Thank you for joining us for this special report.